I want to ask you something, Lamar. And I'm gonna tell you a quick story real quick. Before I ask you the question. Before my wife and I combined our finances, the enemy was so busy in our marriage, in the financial part, because I was making good money, she was making good money, and anytime we got in an argument, it would pop in my head. I don't need you. I can do XYZ. It was in my
Oh,
head. I never said that. Did pride ever set in your head when your wife said, you know what, I want to stay home, or however y'all decided she was going to stay home? Did pride ever set into you anytime you guys got into a disagreement?
yeah. One of the things she would say is when we get paid this Wednesday, or we get paid, and I used to be like,
We are getting paid.
I used to be like, honest to God, I used to be like the biggest thing, like, and she did contribute to the house. Like when she didn't work, I didn't clean the dish, I didn't make any food, I didn't clean up because that's our responsibility was divided. It's my responsibility to go earn income, and I think I was in grad school at the time, so I was doing that as well. And so, yeah, I mean, the pride come in absolutely, but I had to just really understand that's why we established in the beginning it's us together. And so when she would say we get paid tomorrow, my brain would be like, "There's no way you didn't go do anything."
Hey, family, this is Che Willis coming back with another episode of Wealth is a Journey podcast. Guys, we are moving, we're shaking. Listen, we got new lighting, we got new camera. Your boy's looking crispy out here, per usual. We got the camera out here, and I told you guys I'm going to be doing some different things on this podcast to kind of shake things up and just get a different perspective of different people, my rich friends, and how they have done things in their marriage, in their finances, parenting, and so forth. But before we get started, if you are new to this podcast, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. Hopefully you subscribe. Hopefully you share this podcast, because on this podcast is Wealth is a Journey. We talk about all things that are going to help you be a well-rounded individual. We're going to talk about finances. We're going to talk about fatherhood. We're going to talk about family. We're going to talk about budgeting. All the things that are going to help you be a well-rounded individual on your way to the M's, because we're going to get to the M's. All right. So today we have some special guests. We have some special guests. These guys are near and dear to my heart, and we are going to get into it. But we have today Lamar and Christina Waples. Let's go. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Thank you so much. But before I let you guys go, I want to talk about why you guys are here in the first place. We have mutual friends, Eli and Toya Johnson, and we attended their 20th anniversary almost a year ago at this point, right? It was a little less than a year ago. And I just started thinking back to when they first got married, and I attended their wedding. I didn't know Lamar and Christine at the time. I attended their wedding, and they are the reason that I got married. I saw my boy, we grew up together at Cheney, and I saw my boy's progression, and I'm like, yo, man, you know what? This is super dope. He's getting married, and I think I can do this now because I saw him do it.
Cool.
So when I saw them at the event, I'm like, you know what? We need to promote marriage more, because marriage is awesome. I don't care what the news says. I don't care what media. I don't care what marriage is awesome, especially if you're married to the right person. So I felt like I wanted to have them on my platform to shed a light on successful marriages, because you hear about all the fighting and the divorce and all the different things. Nah, not over here. We have good, healthy marriages. So I said all that to say, thank you again for bringing on the show. If you want to just introduce yourselves briefly, have at it. Lamar.
My name is Lamar Waples.
I'm Christina Waples.
Yep.
We've been married for 15 years.
16 this year.
It'll be 16 in August, but it's 15 years. We have been together for 20.
Yep.
We were together for 5 years before we got married. So more than half of my life I've known him.
That's what's up. And I have a quick question for you guys, which is a debate between my wife and I in our marriage. Who wanted who first? Yeah, okay. I see it's a debate in your house as well. Who wanted who first? And you don't have to get into the story. I just want to.
I'll just say that I invited him. Well, my brother was having a birthday party, and we had invited, like, when we grew up, we had like this church convention. We went to like a youth, and we had like invited everyone to this party, including Lamar. So he came to my house, and we met there, and then he got my phone number there. So I feel like that meant he was interested in me
first. Okay, so you was being fresh. Okay.
Okay, but what's really funny is that he and I have a mutual friend that he's known his entire life, and I've known most of my life, and we were friends with her, but didn't know each other like that. And she used to always tell me about him, and like she was trying to get me to take him on my prom, and I was like, I do not know him. Like, I do not know this Lamar. Like, you can stop talking him up because I don't know him, and I'm not inviting him to my prom. I'm not doing all of this. But she was right. Turns out she was right.
Should have been listening.
That's what's up, man. And you guys met in a nasty era, the 2000s when you was wearing the 5XTs. Probably had a paper towel wrapped around his head as a bandana with the dribble jeans. That was a nasty era, man.
I did 5XT was
definitely and the Dickie pants.
Yeah, Dickie pants.
And the Timbs and the long beard.
That's
his beard was right this long when I met him.
That's crazy. Well, listen, man. Thank you for coming onto the podcast and being a part of my life. Now it's time for the big up for you guys. I'm bigging y'all up now. It's probably about I'm going to say 14, 13 years ago or so. Yeah, it was a long time ago. I was struggling. Me and Lamar talked often. And I reached out to him one time and I said, yo, Lamar, listen, I'm thinking about combining finances with my wife. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I know you and your wife combined your finances. How did you do it? And although I'm his OG, he won't admit it. Although he gave me a lot of sound advice, man, and that advice, along with I talked with Milton, who's been on this podcast as well, gave me some sound advice and helped me and my family go to another level in our finances because of this advice. So my question to you, well, first of all, thank you for the advice that you gave me, and I appreciate it because again, it took us to the next level.
I'm always here for you for advice.
Whenever you need. Here we go. So my question is, how did you guys know? And first of all, when did you start combining your finances? And how did you guys know? Did you guys grow up in a household where your guys' families talked about finances? How did you know to combine finances?
So when we first got married, like I told you, we had a conversation. I didn't make a lot of money at all. So kind of was like, it was her idea to do a money together. And I was like, you want to share your money with me? Like, you sure about that? Like, that's what you want? Like, so it come up for me. And so that's how it started.
Well, yeah, we definitely, both prior to us getting married, like in that whole like preparing, you know, like when we got a place to stay, like all that, we were doing all that, we opened a joint account. And like you said, I did make more money at that time. And I wanted to combine our money because I didn't ever want there to be like any like competition. I just always felt like whatever we have is what we have, right? Like it's not like I have more. I didn't never want that to be a thing between us. Me making more money or, you know, kind of thing. So it was just like, well, we just put it together, you know, it's just our money.
So I was like, sign me up.
So we just started out that way. Like that's just how we went about like preparing our life, like where we were gonna live when we got married, buying furniture. I'm just gonna be honest, I was really, really blessed at that time in my life. I had went to school on a scholarship. I was an RA that paid my room and board, and then I had a lot of outside scholarships. I had really great internships at like the big four accounting firms. I made $18-20 an hour. So I had a lot of money. Like I had a lot of money at that time in my life. And when I graduated, I already had a job. And like that whole first year of me working, I saved half of my paycheck. So when it came, because I moved back home because I was going to get married. And so I was like, well, I'll just stay at home for that year. And I saved all this money. And that money was money we used for our wedding, money we used to get furniture and everything. But to me, that was just how we were starting our life. Like it wasn't like it was my money and I was like, it was us. Like we've always been us.
Yep. Well, I think that's really dope because if you look at statistics, and I don't know the stats and all that, but you hear about one of the number one ways that people get divorced is money fights and money problems. And we started 10 years into our marriage. We'll be married 19 years in August. And thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. 19 years. Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, if we had started earlier and we're this far now, where could we have been if we had worked together in the beginning?
Yeah.
So I kick myself to this day, like, yo, fam, you was bugging. But again, I got the advice that I needed. And so my question to you is, what would you tell that person who is just starting out or who has been married for a while? What would you tell that person about combining finances and how great it could be possibly?
To me, I think it's important to have a high level of communication in your marriage period. And finances is one of them. We just did our budget over on Saturday, and we communicated about different things which you have going on. And for us, it allows us to communicate and have an understanding of each other's desires, needs, and wants. And that way, you're not sneaking out trying to create some kind of secondary income, or you feel less than, but you're partnering together. And so it's important. Like I said, we've done this since we've been married, and it's something we appreciated doing.
Yeah, for me, I never understand the thing of how people think the two become one is like maybe like only a sexual thing. Like that doesn't make sense to me. If we're gonna be one, why would our money not be included in that? Yeah. Right. So to me, it was just like we're one, so our money is one, right? And it's probably, I will say, I don't know if it's just like the accountant in me, like of like, you know, you only have whatever you have, right? Like there's like the pot is what the pot is, right? So even putting our money together, it's like there's not this like people always like, well, you have to add like no. I don't have to ask. It's my money dictates what I can do, right? Like if we don't got it, we don't got it. Like it's not a question like
and y'all got it. We know y'all got it.
It's not a question. It's not like is he giving me permission to do something? It's like what can we as a family afford to do? And I think when you go into your marriage that way, it just makes that like your foundation for everything, right? Like I said, it's always been us against the world, and that's in every area, right? Including our money, like, you know. So I think it doesn't leave space for that division. It does to come up. It doesn't, you know, if there is money issues, we looking at each other like, all right, what are we gonna do to fix this? Not you run into your mom or you run into this person. Like between the two able-bodied people in this home, we can figure this out, right? Yeah. So it just always puts you like having to be on this page together.
Absolutely. And as I talk to people about budgeting and things like that, if they're married, I make sure that I let them know, like, yo, you got to have your husband here. You got to have your wife here, and you got to be a part of this together, because there's so many things that happen. There's a magic that happens when you guys work together. Not you guys, I'm just talking about married couples in general. If you guys are working together towards one common goal and there's harmony there and you guys are working together, like you guys are unstoppable, especially if you start knocking down goals.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how do you have how do you create another human being with somebody else, but you don't combine your finances? I just thought about that today while I was washing the dishes. I'm like, how does that even work?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how can people think that like the two become one is in like every other area but your money? Like that, I mean, I don't understand why that wouldn't be included. Like that doesn't make any sense. If I, like you said, if I trust you enough to bring another human into this world, how can I not trust you enough, to put my money with you, Right. And then I think if you have that type of trust issue with that person about money, there are probably other things that you need to work out, right? Before you even embark upon this marriage thing together, right? Like, if I can't trust you enough to put my dollars next to your dollars, like, maybe I shouldn't be putting my body next to your body. Like, we gotta be like, what are we doing here? Like, I think those are all things that people should be looking or thinking about premarital before you get married anyway, But
absolutely. No, I agree.
It's just money. You can't take it with you anyway. You might as well just share
it. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. That's my guy right there. But how did you know to do that? Like, was it in your house? Because a lot of people, the answers that I get back as far as like, doing the budget class and stuff like that, is that we were never taught, and we understand that. But my thing is that were you ever taught how to combine your stuff?
So no, my parents didn't combine their money at all. And typical 90s black household fashion, they argued about money all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, my mom would get her hair done every week, and she would go to church and shout it away. And my dad would smoke cigarettes. So mom like, you smoking money away. So I saw that. So I'm just telling the truth.
Dang. Well, that's not.
So, yeah, I'm saying from my vantage point, that's what I saw. And my parents encouraged me to combine my finances with my wife, even though they didn't put their money together.
Yeah, my parents did their money together, but it wasn't maybe in a healthy way. Okay. So it was like my dad was like the breadwinner basically, and my mom didn't work until I was probably in the 6th grade. She always had like a part-time job or whatever. So like whatever money she made on there, was her money. And then like my dad like was for the whole family. But I say it's unhealthy because it was very like a I make the money, I make the decisions type of household. Mm-hmm. So I never liked that. But even with seeing that growing up and me being the fiercely independent person I am, I knew that wasn't him. Like that wasn't the person he was, sure. Which is why I selected him as my husband. So I knew that
she was chasing me.
I knew, yeah, that's exactly it. So I knew that he wouldn't lord the money thing like that with me, right? I think we tried to be real clear about the whole thing about us against the world. Yep. And I saw, like I said, it was unhealthy because I saw a lot of competition, even though my mom made nowhere near what my dad made. There was competition between them, or her trying to keep up or be able to buy the things that my dad was like, oh, you should get that. And it created crazy debt for my mom and things like that, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Right. Yeah. So I just never wanted there to be that imbalance between the two. Yeah. So it was just like, it's just better if we do it together. And the only last thing I will say, I won't say I wasn't taught, because in college I went to a Jesuit university, and you had to take theology classes. So Jesuit is like a former Catholic, and I took a 3rd level Christian marriage class. And I remember when I started it, I told you, I was like, what is this priest gonna teach me about marriage? Like, this is dumb. And it was probably, literally, I was like, this is stupid, because he's not even married, right? And we went to a church that was big on marriage, taught a lot there. So I was like, I'm good. Like, I don't need this. But that class, I think, taught me more than like anything. That's where we did the love languages, because he wasn't in the class, he was taking the class, because I was coming back like, all right, you gotta read this. So that's what the 5 love languages there. Just taught us so much in that class. That I learned so much. I just learned so much there, and definitely that whole thing about being one, even in your finances, was in there.
Yeah, I think it's dope that I feel like the way you grew up, you saw some things that you didn't like, and you said, "I'm not repeating that."
You
did something about it.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, if people just start there, then they'll be so much further along. So, hey, you know what? I don't know how to do this, but I know what I saw at home,
and I didn't
like it, so I'm going to do the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't want to do that.
Yeah, listen, because you know what repeating those patterns can do, because you saw it at home, or you saw it on the street, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
honestly, that worked out the best for me, because taking that approach early on, like when the tables turn, because they did and they can, and we decided that I was going to stay home, and even at that point we made that decision, I was making more money, and we decided I was going to stay home. Like, I would be lying if I didn't say it was hard, and sometimes to be like, oh, I'm not making any money, right? Like, but and people would say to me, well, like, how do you? I never felt like I didn't have money. I still had whatever money we had, right? Like, I never felt less than. I never felt like I didn't have to, I just felt like maybe we didn't have, like we didn't have, so we could do some of the stuff I wanted to do, but it wasn't like I didn't have, right? You know what I mean? Like and he was always so like adamant about I was contributing to the family in a probably an even more important way by taking care of our kids. Yeah. So the tables can turn. That's all I'm gonna say to people. Like, the tables can turn, and you don't want to have been that person that has lorded over them. Yeah. And now that person can do that to you, right? So you better start off in a fair way. Yeah. Because you'll never know what's gonna happen.
What's going on, family? My name is Che Willis from Wealth is a Journey. I don't know if you know, but I help families living paycheck to paycheck live the life that they want to live through budgeting and investing. So if this is you, and you need help setting up a basic budget, which is the foundation to build any type of wealth, then book a free discovery call. Or if you are a beginner investor and you don't know where to go or where to start investing, go to wealthisajourney.com. Again, wealthisajourney.com. If you know somebody who needs help in either of these areas, make sure that you shoot on my website at wealthisajourney.com, wealthisajourney.com. Let's get back to the episode. I want to ask you something, Lamar. And I'm gonna tell you a quick story real quick before I ask you the question. Before my wife and I combined our finances, the enemy was so busy in our marriage, in the financial part, because I was making good money, she was making good money. And anytime we got in an argument, it would pop in my head, I don't need you. I can do X, Y, Z. It was in my head. I never said that. Did pride ever set in your head when your wife said, you know what, I want to stay home, or however y'all decided she was going to stay home? Did pride ever set into you anytime you guys got into a disagreement?
Yeah. One of the things she would say is, when we get paid this Wednesday, or we get paid. And I used to be like,
we are getting paid.
I used to be like, it was honest to God, I used to be like the biggest thing, like, and she did contribute to the house. Like, when she didn't work, I didn't clean the dish, I didn't make any food, I didn't clean up, because that's our responsibility was divided. It's my responsibility to go earn income. And I think I was in grad school at the time, so I was doing that as well. And so, yeah, I mean, the pride come in, absolutely. But I had to just really understand that's why we established in the beginning, it's us together. And so when she would say, we get paid tomorrow, my brain would be like, there's no way you didn't go do anything. But I never said that out loud. And I never really even mentioned that happened, because thoughts come in your head, but you don't operate on them. You let them go in and out. And it wouldn't be conducive to our environment anyway, because then she'd have got mad, that I'd have got mad. Then, you know what I mean? So it wouldn't have been, I'm sorry. This could be my clip to edit for the highlights.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For the highlights. You got the highlights. He a big time guy. He got followers and stuff. So anyway, so absolutely pride did get in my head, but I never really.
I would say he never acted. No. He never acted on it. And
because I'll be honest with you. This gonna be funny. But if you would have told us in 2008 we first got married that in 2015 I will be making money and she wouldn't.
If you would have said, he always used to tell me, "I'm marrying you for your earning potential." Okay? I was supposed to be a breadwinner.
So to me, I was like, I don't want to push that ego button, but then again, it could flip, and that's why I think it's important. The big thing is you treat people the right way. You don't want to load over your spouse with money. You don't want to throw money into them because you never know. You get sick, get into an accident, anything can happen. And we learned, like, in a matter of 5 years, it went from Christina making money to being at home and I'm making money. Yeah. And then she went back to work and then I went back to work. And so now we both make good money or whatever.
And we like, yeah.
We know. We know.
I'm messing with us.
No. Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
No, but the point is you don't want to be able to compete with your spouse, number one. And that's why and it's funny, we having this discussion. I hear people all the time compete with their spouses, and I'm like, you're never ever going to get ahead compete with your spouse. I want her to have whatever God has for her.
Correct.
So I want God whatever has God for me. And I always tell her, I'm focused on what God's for me, not what you have going on. So if I'm focused on what God's for me, I'm going to get everything I desire and everything He has for me. The same thing for you. And there's only for me to be looking at what's going on in your life and being jealous over it when I'm focused on how to obtain what God's for me. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, honestly, that trait in Lamar is what made me know that he was definitely for me.
Sure.
And that, like, that was someone I wanted to be with. I wanted to marry because I had a lot of issues because of all those great things I said I had going on in my life. Yeah. I had a lot of issues with people, right? Like jealous or whatever. Like, so he never, ever was intimidated by me or jealous or like, oh, you getting another scholarship at school. Like, it was never that from him. Yeah. Like, he was always supportive, always rooting me on and never took anything that I was doing as a slight to him. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's how I knew, like, oh, that's the one for me. Cause that works together. Right. Like, it's a space for me to be able to be myself and to blossom. And this person's not trying to like squash me, to make themselves bigger. Right. And in like, God has worked in him so much and has blossomed him so much because he didn't have that towards me. You know what I mean? So it's just, we're always like, it's always for the betterment of the family, right? Like the both of us and our children, right? Like everything that we're doing is about making it better for our whole family. So I'm never just out to be doing stuff for myself. It's always about the four of us. You know what I mean? About what we're doing for the four of us.
But that's the biggest thing, though. You can just not focus on what your spouse has going on from a perspective of being jealous of them. If I see something going on good for her, I'm excited because that can happen for me too. And it might not be my time right now, but I'm still be excited about you because, like, for example, I got a new job last year. I think it was April.
Yeah.
And she was excited for me, and she's about to get another job now. I'm excited for her. I was more excited about her getting a job than her. Asked her what happened.
Asked me, I'm like, I don't know yet.
But to me, that kind of should be the environment. I want you to feel celebrated for your accomplishment because it's a good thing, and it's not.
I don't want to crease the pot. Hey,
there you go. Absolutely, I agree, and that's why I tell my wife, like, yo, get out there and hustle them books.
Don't be pushing my friend around.
Get out there and sell them books so I can be a stay-at-home dad. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to.
They pushing her out here like that.
That's dope though, man. Because we gotta, like, if you win, we win. I win, we win. If we're winning together, it's crazy. It's up. It's up, and we have to work together, man. Like, we got married. We decided to get married. We decided to be together. And we got to combine everything because we know how working separately works because, lot of times we probably seen that growing up.
Yeah.
But I'm here to tell you, if you haven't, it doesn't work. You working independent of your wife, or working independent of your husband, and you guys are quote unquote going towards the same goal. It doesn't work that way. It works when you guys work together and combine your finances and all those
and
things.
your skills. I think that's the part that like is, if you ask me, I think is really important especially in a marriage. Most of the time, what one person is really great at, the other person's not that great, and it's the opposite way around, right? So when we bring that together, right? So like when I wasn't working, right, like I said, I have an accounting background, so you better believe I knew every penny, where it was at, what it was doing, how to stretch that penny as far as we could, right? Like my mom was telling me to this, she's like, I don't even know how you was doing that, like how you was making that work, like. Yeah, because I mean, we bought this house based on 2 incomes, right? And we went to one that was the lesser income, and we never missed a mortgage payment. We never missed a bill, right? Like
you don't know what that is, though. You don't know
but
not about
I
me.
had to be creative, right? Like I had to get things done. Like I was first day, like no more water buying, no more paper towels. Like
you better drink that water out the spigot.
You better drink it from the refrigerator. It's a filter on there. I will pay for filters, you know, like cutting coupons. I'm the bargain getter, right? Like it don't mean we're not gonna do things, but I'm gonna figure out how to do it for less, right? Yeah. Or I can decorate a party and make enough money for us to buy tickets to Disney World. Like we like what's our strong, like that's my strong suit, right? So he's never actually physically paid the bills. I've always done that. Like I've always organized what's what, where goes where, what goes where, because that's literally what I went to school for, right? Like that's a natural thing for me. So he doesn't try to do that.
No.
He doesn't try to do that, right?
So trying to make more money.
He's just trying to make money. He's good at that, right? Like he's really, really good at his job. He's in sales, so like, you know, the better you do, the better you do. So he's really good at that. Because I used to be like, "Are you swiping?" He's like, "I'll just make some more money." I'm like, okay, don't exactly work like that, but you know, like you have to value what the other person brings to the table, even if that thing isn't money, right? Like I wasn't bringing money to the table, but I had the skill to make the money that we had work.
Thanks, bro. That's amazing, man. And all I'm hearing is you guys are working together.
Yep.
This person has one skill. This person has another skill. We bring the skills together. It all works, and our house is thriving as a result. Yep. And we know you're thriving.
God is good.
No doubt. Oh yes, he is. But I wanna shift gears with you guys, and because you guys were able to work together in your household finances, you guys are also able to work together in your business. And I want you guys to talk about your business.
360. Oh, you're talking about the 360 camera?
360.
360.
So this, honestly, us working together on the business thing is new for us, right? So I've had Christina Michelle events in the Toro, and he had the Toro. So this is the first time we're doing something together with the free space. So that's definitely been new for us, right? But
even in that, I don't know, we've been married for a while now, so we don't step into each other's toes. We know each other's good at. I have interaction with the people at the events. I put the camera together. I make sure that's together. I make sure that the pieces are together. I carry everything from the here to the event, and then she's in charge of, you know, the layout, the graphics, the songs, the bookings. And so we didn't really even communicate, hey, you gonna do this, you gonna do that. It's just, hey, what are you good at? Okay, it's like a 300-pound camera. That's me.
I'm like, are you carrying it?
You know what I mean?
And I didn't found the software to get everything built and all that kind of stuff.
You do that, then I'll have the people come to me about the camera. I'll talk to them about that. So we kind of just, I don't know, we didn't really even have a discussion about it. We just kind of fit into our own mold and just went with it.
Yeah, we're kind of like that in a lot of things, but God is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to put your information in the description. So if anybody wants to hire you guys to do the 360 camera,
Oh, Welcome to the Journey podcast, 15% off.
Oh, see, we ain't talking about
that's what we doing? That's what I'm talking about, man.
But I'm gonna roll with it.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, man, listen. That's what I'm talking about. And again, the fact that you guys know each other's strengths, you've worked together in the house. Now you can work together in your business, and then again, bring more money into the house.
Yep.
So things can get even crazier for you guys.
Yeah.
So in your business, let me ask you this, because I'm sure people are going to want to know, where do you guys go as far as like where you guys just go, tri-state area, DC, Virginia, like where do you guys go?
So we do Philadelphia metropolitan area. We've been in New Jersey, South Jersey, Delaware, Philadelphia. We went to DC before.
That's not typical. So this is again part of like us being a couple, being a family. We also are very cognizant of our family life, right? So even in this business venture, and we've had this conversation recently, with things I've got going on in my job and things, it's like, okay, we got to pull back, right? Like, we're not going to take a whole bunch of bookings. We're not going to do, knowing when to be like, have the extra money. Is it nice? Yes. But is it necessary right now for this? No. Right? Like, is it more important that maybe we spend time with our kids, or I'm focused on, I'm trying to get this new position, but being able to even navigate that space, because I think there's a lot of pressure, especially online and stuff, that like, you got to have this size, you got to do this, you got to do that. Yep. And sometimes that's not what's best always, right? You have to know what's best for your family. And I think you can get so caught up in seeing what everybody else is doing and think, oh, I need to be doing that. And maybe you don't need to be doing that. Maybe God is going to bless you on your 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Maybe God is going to, increase you there, but that needs to be a decision for your family. And like, we do that, right? Like, there's times we're like, all right, let's do more. And then there's time we're like, we'll need to do more. Yeah. I just remember, I'm like, we'll need to do more. And I'm like, okay, we can scale back.
And I don't want what you're saying to get lost, because what you guys are saying, or you guys are dropping some major gems, because I think that we all, at one point or another, gotten caught up in looking at social media, seeing what other people are doing, and hey, I need to do that too. Mm-hmm. That may not work for your household.
Yeah.
Because you guys have been successful communicating with each other on finances and other things, you guys can do a check-in with each other and say, hey, do we really need to be doing this? Mm-hmm. Hey, we got 5 bookings. Do we really need to do 6?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Saying stuff like that. And that's huge, man, because we can all get caught up in things just doing, constantly just doing. And then next thing you look up and you're like, yo, well, I haven't really talked to my son in a day or two, or whatever the case may be. So just being intentional. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I heard this line. Bishop Jake said it, so I'll give him credit. Activity doesn't always equal productivity. And just because you're active doesn't mean you're productive. And so that stuck with me. And so you want to make sure whatever you're involved in, it produces fruit. And that's one of the reasons we talked about it while on the tour anymore. It was great, but it wasn't productive.
I was like, all this running around, babe. Like, I got to drop you off, drop the car off. I'm running out of work. And I'm like, is it really giving us is it that worth it? Like, we got to really look at the scales. I mean, even myself with Christina and Michelle, like in 2024, I'm scaling back. I'm not doing party decorations and things like that, because I really had to take a hard look and say, okay, I'm doing a lot of things, but does God want me to be doing all of these things at one time?
A lot of activity and no productivity.
Yeah. So like, you got to evaluate things, and just because you've been doing it, or other people think you should do it, or, people say you're good at it, that doesn't mean that that's what you should be doing. You always got to be checking in with God and making sure that you're doing what He wants you to do.
Absolutely. And checking in with each other too, to make sure, like, because sometimes you may like look and say, oh, well, the money looks great. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that, without even checking with your spouse. Mm-hmm. And your spouse might be tight because, like, yo, well, fam, like, you haven't seen me in,
and so the money ain't drama. The money is not going to be worth the drama.
No.
So you have to make the decision of like, is this money, like you said, is it worth it? Is it worth what it's going to cost my family? Please know, everything you do has a cost attached to it. Yeah. And if you're not counting up the cost, you're going to get smacked with a bill that you didn't expect. So everything.
Hold on, whoa. Oh, don't gloss over. Please say that again. Please.
Everything comes with a cost. And if you're not counting up the cost, you're going to get smacked with a bill that you didn't expect. And that bill might be the peace in your home. Yep. That bill might be your relationship. That bill might be your children. And if you ask me, none of those things are worth any dollars and cents, right? So, I mean, like, even in that decision for me to stay home, it was like, I have a good job and a good career and I make good money. And it was like, are we sure this was, I wrestled with it a little bit, like Jesus, Lord, why? But, he felt strongly about it, that he wanted me to stay home. And there were so many things we were like, oh, we need to do this first and pay this off first. And none of that happened. And then I literally was like 8 months pregnant, and he had been applying to all these jobs, and I had read Fred Price's book, and it was talking about faith as action. And I was like, okay, I see his actions. He's applying for jobs and things like that. So Lord, what's my action, right? Like, to show my faith in this. And I was standing in the kitchen. He literally said to me, you have to quit your job. He said, I can't provide for you what you already have. And I was like, well, dang. I wanted to be a little bit more ambiguous. Like, all right, maybe I should just keep going. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, well, that was too clear. But he just was like, I can't provide for you if you're doing it for yourself. Like, you don't need me. Like, so you got to quit for me to be able to take care of you. And I just, okay. I hear you, right? But, I mean, I got flack from family members. Like, well, why, you got all that education, you got a great job, and you going to just give that up?
They ain't believe me either.
You gonna get that up? I mean, you gotta follow the Lord's leading for your family, and those dollars that sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I think about that. Like, I have been working those 5 years, like thinking about how God has grown me in these past 5 years that I've been back to work. Like, dang, if I hadn't worked for 10 years, wow, like, where would I be? Yeah. But those dollars and cents are not worth
the time you get. The time,
like, my 2 children are 2 very different children, and my first son, he didn't need me home. His personality is not that. He would have been miserable at home with me. He's a social being, and he thrives at daycare and all that kind of stuff. And he had his medical challenges, so he was where he needed to be. But my other son, he needed me. He needed me to be there. He had speech delays. I would have been terrified with him in a daycare, and he couldn't speak for himself, right? Like, he needed me, and that was more important. And God has restored.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Speak. First of all, and we're gonna get back to that. But your son Christian's disrespectful, by the way. I'm gonna tell you what he did. What he said to me in church the other day. I walked past him like, "What's up, my young boy? What's good?" We dab each other up. He's like, "What you got hair plugs?" I said, hair plugs. I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yo, I didn't see with your hair like that. Is that natural?" I said, "Absolutely." I said, "Juices and berries, baby." You know what I'm saying? The curl is natural. I had hair plugs. I was appalled.
I said that to you. I gotta talk to you.
That's my man. Nah, that's my man. That's my guy. But I wanted to have you guys bring that up as far as like talking about the working together, and that's the common theme that I'm hearing. That you guys work together, you communicate. Yeah. What works for your family is you against the world. The outside forces, they may come, but at the end of the day, whatever works in your household, that's what goes.
Yeah. Yep.
And I had the same situation happen to me. I just took a position at my company, and
talk about it.
You're right. You're right, Playboy. So the potential for me to make more money was in my old position, but the steady money was in the new position, and I still got bonuses, car package, all the things, right? And at that point, I didn't really, the money was good, but I didn't really care about it because it was more for peace of mind to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have to do the grind and all the things. So like you said, the it does cost you something, grinding and going after the money and all the things. and I'm in so much of a better place in such a good space now.
You said you got hair and everything now.
Yeah, I got my plugs together. You know what I'm saying? It didn't cost me too much. Yo, y'all. but the thing is like
it means so much to be in a good
the peace of mind to me, like, and you go through stages in your life, you know, 20s, you're going to go get it. 30s, you figuring it out a little bit more. But when you get to 40, you like, you know what does all this really mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the peace of mind for me to be in the position that I'm in now is so much better, man. It's so much better.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no, I think that's, I don't know. I'm like you said, as you start to get older, you realize like that's what's most important, right? That peace of mind, peace in your home, you know, that your children are peaceful. Like, to me, that's more important than anything. Like, we were saying that, like, I recently like applied for this manager position or whatever. But before that one, there was another manager position that came around like around September. And at that time, Christian was going to be starting high school. He's going to the Botech school, which is like 30 minutes north of our house. And, you know, our kids go to school in the same 2 minutes away. So I was like, oh, this is about to be different. And he's in sports and there ain't no after school bus. You've got to be driving people back and forth. And my boss was like, oh, you need to apply for this job. And I was like, no, not right now. Like, this is just not like a good time for me to try to take on something else, like take on something new or take on something that I know that's going to need so much of my attention, because right now this is like a transition time for my family. So I was like, and like, you know, you have those conversations with your boss who was like, what do you want to do next? And I'm always like, I never want to let my ambition get out ahead of me. Right. So, and I've said that to her a couple of times, because it's like things come up and they're like, oh, you would be good for this. And I'm like, I just don't want my ambition. I have to be thoughtful in these things that I'm trying to do and go all after, because whatever they tell you it is, it's going to be 10 times more than that, right? So sure. I need to be very thoughtful in what I'm doing, because like we always say, it's not just me. It's me, it's him, it's the boys. Like, it's going to affect my whole family. So I didn't apply for that one. And everybody thought I was, and I just was like, no, that's not like what we need to be doing right now, because we have this other large change. Now we've been through that and we got adjusted. There's a mom that lived down the street. She helped with driving and all that stuff. So I'm in a more comfortable place. And then this other job that I'm going for, I like it way better. So God knew that like, this is what, you know, that wasn't for me anyway. Right. So you have to trust those leadings and that your steps are ordered, right? Like, you have to trust that. And if it don't sit right, if it don't have the right piece, if it's going to be interrupted to your life, maybe that's not the thing, and that's okay.
Yeah. And the cool part about it is that to me, God always provides, right? And
sure.
But what I'm saying, I say that to say that when you guys are working together and you guys are on the same page and you guys have a concern about something, God will provide for you, because you guys are on the same page. You guys are working together and you're trusting him at the same time. So there's a lot of gems in this episode so far, man. So I hope you guys are catching these gems. So you talked about your kids, right? And my question to you is, I know a lot of parents get caught up in their kids so much so that when their kids leave to go to high school or they're getting older, they lose their identity because they're so wrapped up in their kids. Mm-hmm. How do you guys, or have you guys faced that? And if so, how did you navigate that, or how did you avoid getting wrapped up in your kids that you guys maybe not know each other? Does that make sense? What I'm
no, it makes sense.
I think one of the things, I'll be honest with you, we was parents really young and early in our marriage. So we always was like, we sacrificing them for the latter part of the years. Even now, we went out to eat before we did this, and my mom was with us, and we only had Caleb with us. My mom was like, you only got one child with y'all. We was like, yeah, this is getting better and better. So
we get there.
Yeah. So
no, I think when we say us against the world, even them kids. Like, kids. No, don't be fooled.
I think one of the biggest things, the way you keep yourself from getting so wrapped in your kids that when they leave, you don't lose each other, is you gotta make sure you have a good relationship with your spouse. I mean, I think that's what we do. We don't make our kids our life. We raise them, we take care of all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, like my son wants to move to Atlanta. I want you to move to Atlanta. I want you to go on with your life and be a self-sufficient adult who can fend for yourself. And so the goal is you're raising them to be adults. You're not raising them to be forever.
That's what I was gonna say. I think we raise our kids with the end in mind, right? Like the point is that we're raising them to be independent and to go out into the world and to be able to take care and to be self-sufficient. So I don't want to wrap them up so much in me that they would never be able to do that, right? So I talk about it all the time. I got 2 boys. I'll be like, I'm gonna be alone. Like I think about, like, I have 2 brothers, and I'm like, I'm the one there for my parents. Like, oh my gosh. But like, but my point is that I'm thinking that far ahead. Like, I tell my boys that they're gonna be husbands and they're gonna be fathers, and they're not gonna be thinking about me because that's what I want them to. Like, I want them to be concerned about their wives and their children. Like, that's where their first thought should be, not to me, because I'm their mother. And once they get to that point, I expect them to be looking after their wives and their family, right? Yep. So I feel like we raise them with the end in mind. Yep. So you understand the temporariness of this, right? Like that this isn't forever. And it makes you cherish the time. That's why it's like when I have to make decisions to not work or not do this and that to be with my kids, I do that because I know it's not going to be forever. That's another thing I've told my boss, like, I only got 18 years with my kids. I can work for y'all forever. Like, I work here till I'm 70, 85 years old if I want to, but like, I only got a certain window where my kids are in my home and, I need to be with them. So I need to do whatever I need to do here because I can work forever. Like, I can be here slaving at this computer when they're older and gone, So I think when you understand that and understand that, like, the time frame that this is just a chapter in it, and like you said, we were so young. We were 23 and 24 when Christian was born. We've only known each other as parents, right? Like as adults, like we've only been parents and married. So we are actually looking forward to when they grow up and go out on their own, because it's like then we can do just me and him stuff. Like,
it's Mr. Nasty time.
Yeah. So that's when people say, y'all gonna have another baby. We're like, no, we got plans. Absolutely not. That will mess up all of our plans for the second half.
I'm like, don't even bring that up. What is a baby? What is a baby?
I keep looking for babysitters and told somebody around, like, we want to be able to have our time to just set and do the things we want without having to think about, all the responsibilities of parenthood. But when that's our time to do it, we do it and we take it seriously, right? Like, so when it's not going to be our time, we're going to enjoy that. Yep. So we got to stay friends so we can enjoy the other part.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that my wife and I do, and we got away from it for a while, man, is taking trips. Just her and I. If was that?
I said, oh man, you gotta rekindle the fire, brother.
Yeah, no, you do. We got away from it because before we had Che, we would travel probably once a quarter. Mm-hmm. I mean, as a matter of fact, on the last day of our vacations, I'll be looking, okay, where are we going next? Like I'll be on one of them type times. So if you don't have, I'm talking to the audience at this point, if you don't have a lot of money and you're strapped for cash or whatever, and you can't go away, you can take drives and just get to know each other, pack some sandwiches or whatever the case may be. And it might seem corny, but at the end of the day, you guys are just trying to continue to be familiar with each other.
Yeah.
Value each other and continue to communicate and work on your plans about the future. And you can do all those different things and strengthen your marriage. So you guys can be one of the good stories about marriage and not a statistic.
No, definitely. Because we didn't always have money.
No.
Or the ability to travel like that. Because like I said, Christian had his medical issues. So there wasn't really even the option for us to leave him, right? Like nobody could watch him because of the care that he needed, right? We only had like 2 family members who could do what needed to be done with him to leave him. So, and then we just never felt comfortable leaving him for a certain amount of time. So for the most part, you know, we did travel as a family when we did, but like, people don't always like to do that, but we enjoy our family vacations because, again, they're not just built around our kids, right? Like, we do stuff we want to do, we do stuff they want to do. We don't, like, if you get up early in the morning, it's gonna be some kind of little something out there for you to eat, but don't come wake me up.
No. Absolutely.
I'm on vacation, okay?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Like, we have kind of ingrained it until now. My kids are so chill. I'm like, can we please go to the beach? And they like, no, we just want to sit here and chill, Mom. I'd be upset, okay? Like, I want to do things. They're like, no, we all right to just chill in the room. I'm like, y'all are boring.
one year we went to Disney or whatever. We wanted to go to Miami. And we was like on a Disney trip. We was like, all right, y'all. We nixed hit Disney one day and drove to Miami from Orlando. We wanted to go to Miami.
What we wanted to do.
So it was like, we're gonna be looking at Mickey all week long. We want to go to Miami.
So we drove down there. We did that like tour of the island where they had all the expensive houses or whatever, and the kids enjoyed it.
We went to South Beach. We had a senior fro. We did all of that.
Yeah, we went to senior fro. We did.
We were walking on South Beach. Now, that part we probably should have did.
We probably did that.
We was on Collins Ave with our kids, dog.
But it's all good.
Oh man, it wasn't spring break, was it?
No,
it was July though, and it was like.
But listen, our kids are fun people because they hang with us, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
another thing, one of the big things we try to make is like, excuse me, they join our family. So we are our family, and you come into our family. So we're not going to conform to what you want to do. You conform to what we do. Certain things we do. We go to church every Sunday. You want to go to church every Sunday. That's what we do. You give us what we do. If we want to go to Miami because you're on vacation, that's what we want to do. Like you are part of the family, so you do what we want to do, and it allows them to understand that everything isn't all about you, and it allows them to understand that you are in the family, and so we're all different partners and parts in this family, but it's not always what you want to do.
Everybody's needs are going to get met. Everybody's going to be able to have a good time. Everybody's, it's what we are, family cooperation, right? Like everybody plays a part in all of that. And same thing happens even for the fun things, right? Like you said, we're going to go to Disney, but we might do something else too that we want to do.
Yeah. That's dope, man. That your kids are getting the exposure to traveling too. So
Caleb out of age of 3 have been to California, Florida.
Keep going. Keep going, because me and Lamar can talk about this later.
He's been to Florida, like he had been to Disney like twice. He's been to Disney World, Disneyland. Like Caleb was well traveled for a little baby and for a mom who didn't work. He was well traveled. Okay,
no doubt.
Florida at least. What is he, 9? At least 7, 8 times.
Yeah, but honestly, even that, when we went to California, we went on Christian's faith, and I believe that Christian said he wanted to go to California. He wanted to go to Disney World to see Disneyland to see Cars Land, and I was like, okay, okay, I don't know we're doing that, but like this is what I was working. I was like, okay, but but then I'm also like, well, how can I make this work for my baby?
So we stayed in Palm Springs and drove to Anaheim.
Listen, we used our timeshare and we traded out. So I was like, well, listen, we're going to stay in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
And then we're going to take a day trip and go to Disneyland, stay the night there with some points. Like, we was like connecting all of the dots.
Absolutely.
But I was like, babe, and then I told him, I said, we went there on your faith. Like, I would have never tried to do that had you not wanted to do that, right?
It was hot in Palm Springs. Remember, it was like 100.
It was 120 when we got there at 10 o'clock at night. I got in the car.
It was crazy.
It was 120 degrees, but we had a great time.
We was in Palm Springs though, so.
Oh yeah, that's.
We know.
We know. We know. Yeah, man. So the moral of the story is work together, and then use your faith to get the things that you want, and God will provide the rest. And the cool part is also, as you continue to do that, and God continues to provide, then you'll think to yourself, what else can't he do for me?
Yeah, that's
for sure.
Especially when the kids are growing up. Like me and Lamar talked about on the last episode, when he was on here, about praying with the kids and talking to them about God and building their own relationship. So when they get out there in the world, they're gonna be good. They're gonna be well. They're gonna have manners. They're gonna use their faith, believe for things, and they're gonna know how to treat their wives. And it's going to be a whole thing that I don't even think that we're even grasping, like the impact of what you guys are doing now with your kids. When they get out there on their own.
It's the things that, like, we wish we knew then, like, that to be able to put it into our kids is so important. So, I know that my boys are gonna.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because my son, he had this dream about going to Morehouse in Atlanta, and then the other day he gave me some kind of like lackluster dream. I said, no, that ain't what you had us believing for. Like, why you dumbing the dream down now?
That's right.
Like, you want to go here and do this?
That's what we doing.
For this, that's what we doing. He was all like, oh, I was thinking something else. I ain't no plan B. Like, I was like, what are you doing? That was the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's that's good, man. And they need that. They need that reinforcement, man. So for you guys to call him out on what he said that he believed for, like, are we believing or not?
Basically.
You know what I'm saying? So let's get to it. If that's what we believe for, man. Guys, this has been an awesome time, man. But before I let you go, we're gonna take it back to Seeds of Greatness. They asked us this question when we talk about how long we've been married. I need a key. I need a key for how you guys have stayed married. Just one key from each of you of how you guys been able to stay together. And you guys have given so many gems this whole episode. Thank you.
I'll go first. I think one of the biggest things that I look at you all like.
No, I want to hear what you're saying. I want to hear.
Me too.
One of the biggest things that have allowed us not to just stay married, but to be happily married, I'll say for me, is being in tune with the Spirit. I think, probably sometime last year.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not. Well, it's the truth. Then.
No, go ahead.
Well, like
truth, brother.
No, you know how you get married, and sometimes like your joke not as court, as funny, or her food don't taste as good. And it's like you just like you're not vibing. And I'll say this, that something the Holy Spirit told me to do that I never told you, that I do every day. The Holy Spirit told me to do something for her every single day. So every day I do something for her. She don't even know it. Her shoes could be downstairs, bring them upstairs. Or she might left the blanket on the couch, I fold it up. Or she might left, one time she left clothes in the dryer, towels, I fold them, put them away. So it's just simple stuff like that every day. And I don't even, I'll go to the store, and she's English muffins in the morning, and you might have ran out, and I'll be at the store, I'll pick them up for her. I got you English muffins. So to me, it's a way to consistently consider her all the time. And she knows it's subconscious. I don't even go out throughout my day saying, oh, I gotta do something for Christina. It just happens. But I've been doing it for the last few months now, where it just happens. Like, she might have a glass here, I'll take it downstairs. She doesn't really realize it. And I don't always even mention it, but I think for me, it allows me to continue to consider her all the time. And it allows me not to be always being self-centered, but always being considering your spouse, remembering her. And her love language is, quality time and acts of service. And so it's acts of service. And that's it. It's not even a big, I'm not hanging curtains every day, but like I said, you might have a glass upstairs to get downstairs, or just small things. Yeah, it's just I know. She might have her keys upstairs. I remember where they at. So
when I say where my keys, you have
bruh.
That right there is very dog. If you got a spouse like mine who always do stuff, you get frustrated by it. Just remember where the stuff is at. So
man, like, how do you come in the house every day and you set your stuff down at a certain spot?
We be having a lot more stuff in our hands and like with us when we come in the house. We're not focusing on them keys.
Listen, I went to the gym last week, right? And she texted me and my son and said, Christian, you know where my keys are at, right? And she was like, I gave them to you last. I'm in the gym. I'm on the stair machine. I text, they under the ledge under the TV. Oh, thank you.
I was like, yup. As soon as he said, I was like, that is right.
Because I did put them down there. I sure did.
I definitely did.
I just remember where they were at.
I was like, I literally said, yep, they were.
I knew she would need them, and I was like, I could move them somewhere, or just remember where they at when she needed them, and she needed them, and I remember.
Thank you.
No, you can go give you.
Oh no, I think I'm like, I don't know what I was gonna say. No, okay, I'm gonna say for me, and especially like as a woman, something that maybe you don't know that I always do is
How you know?
everything that like you think or everything you feel you shouldn't say, right? I tell people like, I've had lots of arguments with Lamar inside of my head. And they have never come out of my mouth because most of the time, by the time I done fussed it all out in my head and the Holy Spirit pointed out all the holes in my story and all the ways that I was wrong, I'm like, all right, well, I should probably be quiet about this because I'm just as wrong or I'm the one that's wrong. You know what I mean? And I have learned to like work those things out. A lot of times when you play them out with the Holy Spirit and he can kind of help you filter it through, you'll learn, number one, most of it never needs to come out. You know what I mean? And then the things that do, he gives you the time and the space to do it where it can be accepted. And that's just something, at least for me, especially seeing things in my home growing up, like you can't just act off of like your emotion and your rage and you're upset and just saying whatever, because you can never get those words back, right? Like even if you apologize, it's put an imprint on that person that you can never take back. So, you know, I would rather like think that thing and then be like, that I don't really mean that, right? Because most of the time that stuff you're saying, you don't really mean that about your spouse. You really know that they're not out to get you. They're not like, you know, you really know that in your head, but your emotions may have you feeling some way. And when you spit all of that out, it's no way to get that back. Like it's no, I don't care how much apologizing you do.
Back in 2013, what you
even
say?
If they say right, exactly. Even if they say they forgive you, they will never forget. Yeah. And so I would rather just not say it, right? And like I said, sometimes it'd be like I'm having a whole argument with him in my head, and I'm glad I did.
Whole time I didn't even do nothing.
I ain't gonna say that.
I don't know about that, bro.
Exactly. But there have been times where I have been really upset about things, and I've had this whole like, and then the Holy Spirit has been like, all right, you know, well, you could have did that's fine. I'm like, all right. Or there's been times where he's like, well, you're right, he wrong. But I didn't address it at that time. And then when I addressed it, he was like, oh, I hear what you're saying. You're right. Like he was able to accept it. But if I had said it at the time when I was mad like that, it just would have been a fight. And nothing would have nothing would come from it.
I got an example for that too. Like I remember one time, we don't go to church together because obviously she goes early or whatever.
I was like, we do go to the same church. Oh, sorry, I was confused.
No, we do, but like
had that argument in your head again.
In your head. But no, we go to church together. Okay, sorry.
No, we don't go. We go to the same church building. We don't go arrive at the same time.
Sorry.
And one time she was coming with us, but she got up and then made breakfast and she was just cleaning up. And she was just making us late, right? Bro, she was making us late, just getting in the way. And I was mad. And I was like 10:30. I was like, what are you doing? And the Holy Spirit was like, this is your fault. You could have cleaned up after she made the food. And you'd have left. And I was like, dang. So I didn't really even like, I didn't get mad because I was like, dang, that's my fault. But I was like, I should have thought of that, but I didn't. I was so mad. I wasn't thinking straight. And the Holy Spirit was like, you could have cleaned up. And then she'd have been ready on time, but you didn't. Then you're late. So it's important. It's important to have the Holy Spirit with you.
Filter the things through the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. And to those of you who are watching and listening who don't know what the Holy Spirit is, think about this. Think about the time when you did something and then you knew you shouldn't have did it, and then you did it anyway, and you said, you know what, something told me don't do this.
That's something, yeah.
That's it. That's God helping you not to bump your head. But you go ahead and do it and you bump your head anyway. Mm-hmm. Or you get an idea to say, hey, you know, what I said to this person wasn't right. Let me go apologize. It's that small, still voice in your head on the inside that might give you a peace to do something. And then you go ahead and do it. And then it makes things better. So now I'm going to give you a story and we're going to end this thing because this has been fire of the time when I had just started going to see the greatest, and Che was born. And my wife was real big on, hey, you know, before you handle my son, make sure you wash your hands. Like he was really young. So I popped up it was like 2:00 in the morning. I go use the bathroom. In his bathroom, I wash my hands, and then I go get him. And then she jumps up out the bed. Yo, I told you to wash your hands before you touch my son. And I'm like, fam. So next thing you know, I'm holding him, and now we're arguing. 2:00 in the morning.
Yo, I never heard this story before.
And I'm like, yo, fam, like, what are we really doing right now? I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing by going to go get him. No, you chill. I'll go get him. And then the next thing you know, it's this big blowout argument. We hollering at each other, yelling at each other while I'm holding Che. And then I go upstairs. We had a loft. This is our old house. I go upstairs. We had a loft. I go sleep in that room because I didn't want to be around her anymore. I'm like, yeah. By yourself. I'm sick of you right now. So as I'm walking up the steps, I get a check on the inside saying you need to go apologize to her. Even if she was wrong for coming at me the way she did, and I tried to prove to her that she was wrong, the exchange was wrong. Mm. And I went back and I apologized to her. I felt like a sucker for doing it, but I knew it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. Did you still sleep in the loft or you went back to the bedroom?
Oh yeah, I did. I did it. I did it after. I waited until I woke up. But I did it. I was still young. I was still young. I was still young and full. Okay.
As long as you did it.
Yeah. I did it the next day.
I did it. All right, let me go with you.
Like nah, God. I'm gonna go to sleep on this thing real quick, and then I'm gonna go do it. But
he will not sleep in another place.
Well, that's where we were at the time.
I'd be like, don't you want to sleep somewhere else? He won't do. He won't.
Yeah, but I was tight though.
I know it bothers them here. Why you up here? I'd be like, I know you, man. Give me the confidence.
He's gonna make me sleep next to him.
You gonna sleep on that side, but I'm gonna be here.
That's right, man. But those are the small things that can help you in your marriage as well. If you get that check in your spirit that, hey, you know what? Maybe I should go apologize to that person, whether you were wrong or they were wrong. Just that check and you taking heed to doing it is going to knock off days of strife in your house. Like think about the days and days and days of you guys, arguing with each other and not speaking to each other for days.
Right? Bro, you want the peace.
So I think we talked about this too before, Che. Like when my mom and dad would argue, my dad would hold a grudge against my mom for a few days. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, so that's the thing. So I'll never forget we got into an argument, right? And it was like in the morning, and she called me and told me like, what you want for dinner? Like, what you mean want for dinner? Ain't no dinner. It's standoff. Why you even calling my phone?
I can't hold a grudge longer than a couple hours.
Get off my phone, sis. I want nothing for
dinner.
I'm mad at you. I'm not trying to do dinner. I'm not even coming home tonight for no dinner. But it taught me we don't really argue. If we do, it's seldom, and then we don't let it linger. Because a lot of times, honestly, bro, if you get down to the meat and potatoes, it'll be like, that's really just dumb.
This is dumb.
It was dumb, so you avoid that by like we say, cross-checking with the Holy Spirit about what you want to say, which thing you should say, what you should do, how your tonality should be, and a lot of times, I'll have something I want to say to her, but I'll wait for the right moment and the time. Yeah. I don't say, hey, by the way, something man in the house, I don't like how I don't do all that. I'll just say, hey, like we had a discussion a couple months ago, and I want to talk to her about something. It was a serious discussion for like a few weeks, and I waited. And I just hit her in like prior to the clock, like, hey, what you think about such and such and such? And it's part of a really, really important conversation we needed to have. But it wasn't like, oh, I've been feeling this way for a long time, but since you ain't acknowledging it, I'm gonna just say something. You know what I mean? Like, so you just gotta learn that kind of stuff. It's a way to come about things. So
and keep it light, have fun, laugh at each other, laugh at yourself. Like, I don't want to be married and be unhappy. Yeah, like I don't. That's what he said. I've moved on because my grudge holding time is very short.
I didn't know that.
I will be like, I'm over it. I'm like, bro, what are we doing for dinner? Like, but you're my friend. You're my only friend. I need to be able to talk to you. Who am I going to tell what happened at work today? Like, I would wait, come back around. Like, I was like, this is a 3. He all still mad. I'm like, you still mad?
I'm like, it's a 3-day minimum. I thought.
Oh my god!
I ain't
Can
know.
we please?
That's real though. That's real, man. Those
No.
grudges, trying to hold on to them too. Like, but that in the grand scheme of things, that's it's stupid.
Yeah, it is. And so I thought that's what you did, but she was all like, "No, I'm not even that mad." And then it's another thing. You can argue with Christina at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 12, she's not mad about it. So then you feel probably like, why am I still so mad and she not mad? So you can't even be mad no more because she not mad. But why you not mad no more? Because I want to be mad
because I didn't talk it over with the Holy Spirit. He didn't calm me down. We didn't moved on. Me and the Holy Spirit just moved on.
But that's your strong suit, and then he can learn from you by getting over things easier. Like,
I do down there. I don't even care no more.
Now I might go from 0 to 100 faster.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, man. You friends with my wife, so and I'm not talking about my wife. I love her. Just in case.
Say there
when she watches this, I love.
There will be no Tanera slander.
Listen, I love her, and but she goes from 0 to 100 real quick.
And the problem was 0 to 100. You'd be like, well, at 50, what did I do?
Yeah, how did we end up at this place? Like, we were just having a good time. We was laughing. Like, are you really mad? Or like, are you serious? Like, what did I do?
We're growing from
once she hit you with the I don't appreciate when you be like, oh,
we're growing from that because we filtering things.
We've been delivered for all that.
Yeah. All of
that. We've been redeemed.
That's right. Absolutely. So my very, very last question is, what are you guys working on as a family that you can look back and say, look, we accomplished this? In a year, 2 years, what do you guys
just debt.
Yeah, we're working on paying off all the student loans and my car. Yeah, just getting down to like, we don't really have anything else, but just getting down to like just our house, which is at a really great place. So then we can get rid of that too.
I think that's what we're looking for financially. I think as a couple, I think we look forward to continue to enjoy being with each other. I think we're in a space now where we like being with each other and we like enjoy each other's company. And now, like we said before, we can go out and we don't have to find 3-4 different babysitters and all of that stuff. And we can do things like, and so I think that's what we're looking forward to continue doing that.
That's what's up. And to put a bow on it, if you look back to or listen back to what we talked about earlier, the things that you desire at this point for your family are going to happen because you're working together, you're believing for it, and you have faith for it, and you're working towards it. Mm-hmm. So when God sprinkles his thing on it, it's going to happen.
Yeah, so went my house off too. I'm just saying,
hey man, you can have anything you believe for, bro.
You say you got nervous.
I did. But listen, man, I appreciate y'all joining Wealth is a Journey, man. Hopefully people have gotten a lot of good information about this. I think we are going to continue on the series, kind of like we did with the Dope Dads, to get other successfully married couples on here to talk about how they do things, to give different people ideas on if they are married, how they can do marriage better, or if they're not married, this is what I'm looking for in my spouse. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody at least that has the potential to have the thing, because it's all a work in progress. Like I wasn't this person when I got married.
No, me either.
No. So just think about that.
No, you working on yourself.
You don't know anything. I'm telling you.
You're a work in progress.
That's a fact. I am. That I am. Absolutely. But no, guys, thank you so much again for being on Wealth is Journey. I will definitely put your information for your 360 business in the description. So if somebody wants to hire you, and hopefully you will be available on that day. Hopefully. But yeah, man, thank you again. And I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all mean a lot to me. And y'all have done a lot for me in a small conversation that we had a long time ago, and y'all being the example.
Appreciate it, bro.
Love you guys.
I love you guys. All right.
Don't hate, please.
Make
Please.
for the line.
I get it from your husband. Pause. I get it from your husband.
That's how we starting at the what? God.
Now listen. I'm a professional podcast. I'm gonna edit this part out. I might end up keeping it in. Pause. But we
oh my goodness.
All right.